This is Nat with the Other Side Nursery. Today we'll be talking about growing ferns indoor. So first of all, what is important to know is that all ferns are different. There are ferns that will grow on trees, some will grow on rocks, some will grow on terrestrial, like soil and stuff like that. There are aquatic ferns also. Knowing that, add on the fact that some of them are desert ferns, some are tropical, some are temperate. Like here in the Pacific Northwest, we have several dozen species of ferns that will pretty much die if you bring it indoor. Like the native maidenhair fern, native sword fern, stuff like that, they will not want to live indoor. But we do have ferns that can grow indoors, like the tropical ferns. Just the important thing is kind of knowing the name of the fern that you do get, just to make sure that it is a tropical fern. Like for example, here is a crocodile fern. They grow really well indoors. They don't really require as much humidity as you want to give it, but the more humidity you give it, the bigger the fronds will be. That's an example of a pretty good adaptable houseplant. Another one that is pretty easy to grow indoor would be staghorn ferns. There are moosehorn fern, staghorn fern, elephant fern, something fern, elephant ear fern. They're all in the genus Platycerium, but they make great mounted plants. I have one behind me over there. Eventually that one will start encrusting the board. I'm probably not going to have it that long though, but they can get pretty big. Another great fern to have, another tropical fern, would be the bird nest fern. They like growing on trees and stuff like that. By like, I mean you can find them growing on trees. Will also be terrestrial. I went to Thailand. I saw one in the wild. It stretched maybe about like 10, 15, maybe not 15, but definitely at least 10 feet wide. So they're pretty amazing. This one is the Campio cultivar, so it just has a little bit more texture, crinkliness to the leaves, more of the serrated look to it. I said leaves, but I meant fronds. Another great indoor one that you can go with would be rabbit's foot fern. Rabbit's foot fern. At my old job, we had one inside the office for about 5 years or so with fluorescent light, and it did really well. Yeah, I would highly recommend going with rabbit's foot fern. Sometimes, well, they produce these little tarantula leg things. They're supposed to look like rabbit feet, but to me they just look like little tarantula feet. But another great one. You want to go light on water with these ones though, because they can rot. Many tropical ferns with these little rhizome things, you want to go a little bit easy on the water because the little rhizomes can rot. Another one, my favorite one actually, would be this over here, Phlebodium aureum. These fronds, these bigger fronds, they unfurled, and here when I got them, they were maybe like that far off the soil line, but they're pretty big. I like it. And let's see, we have the little spore sac underneath. Not really, but this older frond does. Another great fern to go with would be Kangaroo Paw. So all ferns that I've mentioned so far, they're for the most part tropical, or at least not like North American temperate. Some of them are Australian. In Australia, their climate is not really as cold as ours. When you get ferns, just make sure you check what kind of fern it is, and just kind of search a little bit to see what kind of region it's from. If it's North American, non-tropical North American, just kind of avoid it because there's a good chance that it'll just end up crisping and dying inside your house. If it's stuff like the Pacific Islands, Australia, tropical South America, stuff like that, great. So if you want to be more successful with ferns, just make sure you do get tropical ferns, or Australian species are great. I generally avoid North American species and East Asian species because they are more cold loving. They need all that airflow and stuff like that that the outdoor would provide them with. And I said East Asian, but not Southeast Asian, because Southeast Asian ferns would be fine. Like this. That's Southeast Asian. Alright, if you have any questions, please feel free to email me at info@theothersidenursery.com or call at 971-754-9013. Thank you.